Yo, what's goody? It's Bear in the building. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Kueen Talk. If you are new here, welcome. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, leave a comment, let us know what you think of this episode. Y'all, today we got Keke. Do you love me? Are you love me? And you never ever leave from beside me. I just had to, Keke. I'm sorry. From Louisiana. How you doing, Keke?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You know, everybody do that when they hear Keke.
Hey, it's like an anthem though now for you, so
It is.
it
It
could
is.
work. How's your day been?
It's been good. Been taking care of my son. I mean, that's pretty much really taking care of my son.
Yeah, so you do single mother, right?
Right, right.
By choice, right?
Not by
Not
choice.
by
Not by.
choice?
Mm-mm.
Okay, okay. So you're before we get into that, you're from Louisiana,
Yeah.
Baton Rouge. Are you born and raised from there?
Born and raised Baton
Okay.
Rouge.
Okay. How is that environment like there? The culture like,
Um,
especially for queer
I
people.
mean, it's. I wouldn't say it's accepting, but it's not accepting either. Like you can pretty much get by. You know. Yeah.
Okay. Is that
It's
is
like a
that
lot of older people. Country people. People that grew up in the church, predominantly. So
right, right. Is that what your upbringing was like too?
yeah, it was. It was.
So how did your family feel about you being a part of the community?
At first, well, I didn't come out. I was found out. I'll
Oh,
say
okay.
that. So like, it was like one of the situations, like a parent goes through your phone and they find out, basically. So, I mean, of course, uh, my dad, he was, pretty accepting. He was just like keep an open mind. Anything could change later in life. Which is understandable. Sometimes things happen for people. And my mom, she not so much. That was not that was not what she wanted for me anyway.
What was that conversation like with your parents? And
Um,
and because they were sneaking through your like that's another thing too was like kids have these cell phones and these days too like they are outing themselves. I know a child personally like today like in these days to where like their parent went through their phone and found out they were talking
yeah.
to a female and that's how it happened. And so how did that play out your conversation?
Um, well, it turned into an argument because, well, not really. I lied about it. I said, this was just a friend and this is how we talk. That's just what I went with until, I was old enough to get, my own place and, get my own job and, start buying my own clothes and, come into myself.
So you didn't feel comfortable expressing yourself fully until you were like out on your own. I pay my
Yeah,
own bills now.
pretty much.
And how did it change anything now that you're paying your own bills? Like, is your mom more receptive of it now, or
Oh yeah, she's more receptive of everything now. I think she knows that you know I'm going to do what I want to do. You cannot control my life. This is my life to live. So I
yeah?
think she realizes that. I don't think she accepts it, but I think she realizes that.
Okay, okay. So you guys never had like a conversation afterwards. Like this is just like I am who I am. You're gonna accept it or not.
No, we never had a conversation, but I mean, she always now she's like open up to me. Talk to me about these kind of things, and it's like, well, when I needed you, I couldn't talk to you about it, so I don't want to now.
Okay, so now you just don't want to now. So do you have like now you're a mother? So do you feel like the relationship has changed now, or do you feel like it's like yeah no
Uh,
so
in that aspect, I feel like I would never be comfortable, like, speaking on, like, personally, what I feel like you don't agree with. But overall, I think it has bettered the relationship because now I understand, like, as a mother, like, I understand, like, being overbearing and protective, because this world is crazy.
yeah. It is. And so born and raised in Louisiana, you're 28 years old and you actually became a mother through like an at-home insemination, correct?
Correct. Correct.
What made you like want to be like, okay, I want to have a kid, like I want to do this myself.
Well, this started, like, like, years ago, probably, like, in 2019. I was in college. I was like, I want to have a baby by the time I graduate. I was like, I just want to have my own child. I have dated people that had kids, and it's like, you break up and it's like they take their child and they're gone. Like you no longer have access to their child. So I was like, I want a baby that nobody can take from me.
Yes. I hear that. I hear that because, like, personally for me, I've never dated anybody with kids. I think that's always been like a internal fear of mine of like what you're explaining right now. But I've always been like, nah, like not dealing with the kids, the drama of any of that. But you said you were with somebody when you went through this process,
Yeah,
correct?
I was in a relationship. Fortunately, it didn't work out midway, and we split ways around 5 months. I'll say.
5 months you were pregnant and you split ways.
Yeah. Well, I'll say we split around maybe 2 months, and then we spent around like 5 months for good. Like you're still in conversation, and yeah.
Okay. What? Why do you think? Did the pregnancy have anything to do with it? Do you think, or something else?
I'll say the pregnancy didn't really make things worse. I think I was thinking that maybe a child will keep a woman, but just like they say, a child won't keep a man, it will not keep a woman either. So
Oh,
I think it was already hanging on by a thread, and you know
okay.
my pregnancy hormones, mixing with that type of person, it didn't work out.
Yeah. So when you say at home insemination, what did that look like?
Okay, so that looked like for me, found a donor on it's an app called Just a Baby,
Just the
and
baby?
Just a Baby.
Oh, just a baby.
Yeah, and I found a donor that was a state over, and I made preparations with him. We got to know each other. He sent over his paperwork, things like that, and I think about maybe 2 3 weeks later, I met up with him, in his state with my partner, and he did his business in the cup, and that was then,
So like you did like the syringe thing, like in a
yeah,
cup, and
with a syringe in the cup.
okay,
So
interesting.
yeah,
Was it cost of like was it did it cost a lot of money? Was it
uh, because I did it that way, no, it didn't cost. My donor only charged $75. I just had to
s-
pay. Yeah, I just had to pay like to get to travel expense, gas to get to another state, and of course I had to get a place for that to happen, like a hotel.
that's like if you're wanting to have a kid, I feel like that's pretty affordable to
Yeah, it is. I mean, compared to like what you would spend at the smart bank.
exactly. And how like was it like so when you say just a baby, so like the your donor knows like you don't want anything else to do with him, or how was that relationship with you and your donor?
The relationship it was okay. When it comes to the donor, I think it's like never gonna not be awkward. Um, but he made me really comfortable in the sense. Um, like he would call, uh, like before the process, he would call, like every couple of days, to check on like ovulation and stuff. Like he was very, very helpful. And like even throughout the pregnancy, like he would randomly call and ask how things are going. And I mean, he said he didn't, really want much, to do with the child, which is what I wanted anyway. But he is receptive to pictures, so I mean, I will send picture updates, probably once a year, and that's
Oh,
about it.
that's dope. Like I've never for one I've never heard of just a baby app. I've never heard of anyone like going through this experience like with a donor. And is this the donor's first time, or is it like this is
No, it's not the first time.
okay?
He has
Uh,
a donor kids out there.
Okay. How do you feel like if, or is there like something in the contract that's like, okay, you can't have anything to do with this kid? Like he gave up his rights, like
Yeah,
specifically?
he gave up his rights.
Okay. So now that you're a single mother, like how have you been navigating life?
Um, I've been pretty much just going with the flow. Trying not to put myself on too much of a schedule. With the newborn because that's almost impossible. So I've been pretty much, just going with the flow, learning because it's all different. I've never been around a baby or watched, a baby grow up. So it's like, it's crazy. Um, but other than that, I'm just, waiting for them to get a little older so I can, get back to work and,
Have you started dating again, or are you just waiting
uh,
on that? Or
I have started dating. I
and what does
have.
that look like for you now? Now,
I feel like, honestly, I feel like for like the lesbians that are like already established and know that they want a family eventually, I feel like this is kind of been like a prime for them because I've been attracting a lot of women that want to be a mother.
okay,
And
okay.
you know
So you still got the game, is what you're saying, Kiki.
I maybe so, but so far that's what I've been getting. And
What do you have, like, any advice for like other mass presenting women that like want to have a kid?
go for it,
Go
do
for it.
it. Yes, do it. I mean, if it's going to be with a partner or if it's going to be by yourself, I say go for it. It's probably the best experience I've ever experienced in my life. Just, to have like a child grow inside of you like this, like once you think about it and, go through it, like it's amazing. Then once you meet them, it's like, wow, I created you. Like,
Yeah, it is pretty dope. Personally, for me, like growing up, I've always been like, I want to have a kid. Like, I want to have a kid. I want to carry the kid. And then I got a dog. And when I got that dog and I had to potty train the dog and the frustration that I got, I was just like, okay, maybe I should reevaluate this. And then my partner's brother had a kid, so we're babysitting. And when I tell you that baby tested me, I was like, okay, need to be in a different place in my life to where like a nanny's on hand, to where like when my patients run out, I'll be able to do that. But it's just like I personally don't know. Like I always told myself like I wanted to have a kid. Now that I'm older and I can do what I want, move how I want, and I still have to take care of this dog and like figure out a babysitter for them, it's harder. How has your
right.
life changed? Do you feel like for the better or worse, like since you decided to have a kid?
For the better, I would say I feel like I've grown to understand the value of time. Like time really flies. Like when you watch a kid grow, and I've also learned the definition of unconditional love. Like you don't understand it until like sometimes you do, but for the most part you don't understand it until you have a kid. And I would say the only bad thing um would be just not being able to like just get up and just go by myself. Like I have to get up myself ready. I have to get him ready, and I gotta make sure he's not upset. He's not crying. He doesn't need to be changed. He doesn't need to eat. Gotta make sure I got everything packed in a bag. It's like it's a lot.
How,
It's like coming from a person that takes like maybe 10 to 15 minutes to get ready. That is a lot for me.
then 10, 15 minutes turn into like an hour
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
What's your support system look like? Being a single mother.
My support system. I have my parents, my mom, my dad. That's pretty much it.
So
Yeah,
they
that's
are there still supportive of you and help
oh
out.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're
You,
excited to have a grandchild. So
yeah. You guys just avoid the tough conversations, huh?
pretty much. I mean, that's been keeping us going.
I feel like all too many of us do that. I'm trying not to do that with my mom anymore. Um, I've and it's learned it's okay to hurt each other's feelings in order for us to grow.
Right. It's okay to have those uncomfortable conversations. Yeah.
Yes, because they are uncomfortable, and it's easier to just like avoid them. And you talked about that unconditional love, like I'm going to love you regardless, so we don't really have to talk about it. But I feel like that transcends into our other relationships when we do that. Do you feel like now that you've given them a grandchild, that maybe it'll change, like when you get into a relationship? with the partner, or like how does your family treat your partners?
Um, like they treat them how the partner treats me. Like I may, go back and say something and they, that the partner did that may have been bad. And they will not forgive that person. Like they will hold that to, they will hold it to them. So, I mean, that's why I learned, don't say too much about your relationships, but they pretty much treat people how that person treats me. So if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad.
Well, that's good. I've also learned that you can't share your relationship with everybody. It's definitely better to just not tell others
Right.
everything in your relationship.
Right. Because when you forgive, others will not.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? And I feel that like with the family, just like wanting to protect you too, especially now you
Right.
have a kid. How old is your son now?
He makes 6 weeks tomorrow.
Okay, so this is fresh,
Yeah.
fresh. Do you
Real.
are you working full time and stuff too?
Right now, no. Actually, I was fortunate to not. Well, I left my job around 8 weeks. I had, enough saved up to where I didn't have to. Well, that's
That's
after I moved back to my parents. I had enough to, not be able to work until postpartum.
now. So you mentioned like earlier of just like a child being taken away from you, like in relationships. Do you still have a relationship with your ex, as to like you guys made this child together, or is that just like nah, done completely?
Yeah, it's a nah, done completely.
Is that on your part, their part, or both?
I think. Well, at one point it was on her part, and I think now it's on my part. So
Do you feel guilty at all because you just said like how you've gotten
yeah,
taken away?
yeah, I know a little condescending, but I don't feel guilty only because it wasn't the healthiest environment. Without saying too much, it just wasn't the healthiest environment. So I don't feel bad for not putting my child in it. You know.
Yeah, I think in you're a unique situation with them leaving you at like 5 months too. So, have they met your child or
Yes, they have met my son, and once again, it didn't turn out to be a healthy environment.
okay?
So I was like, well, like you said, I felt guilty, so I reached out and I was like, hey, here, do you want to see him? You know, and it just didn't turn out good. So
That's understandable. Like I said, your situation and um, how was that pregnancy like though? Like that 9 months, like was it hard for you? Was it easy?
I
And
would
labor.
okay. I'm gonna start with the pregnancy. Okay, for pregnancy, I would say the pregnancy was compared to what I hear from most people, it wasn't bad at all. Like I didn't have morning sickness. I didn't have like none of what everybody complains about. I didn't have like literally nothing up until like around like 6 months. Like I started getting like a pain like in my back and like my front side, and like I could only sit up for about 20 minutes a day
Mm,
because like the pain was so intense. Like I would go to the like my doctor's appointments. That takes probably like an hour or so. And, like I would literally be like ready to cry because I was in so much pain. Because I guess like the way he was positioned in my stomach, like he was like pushing up against my organs and my ribs, and it just hurt so bad. But um, getting towards the end of my pregnancy, I pretty much couldn't walk. I had to wobble. Um, that's about it. Like it wasn't like no bad experience. I was just like huge and like tired all the time. That's all.
but labor was
Hey,
smooth for you. Like it wasn't like the worst pain
okay.
of your life.
No, actually, when I got the epidural, I did not feel anything.
Oh,
Like
nice.
nothing at all. I probably had maybe 2 hours of pain, and I got an epidural, and the remaining 10 hours, I was pretty much asleep, and they would just flip me around like a little rotisserie chicken.
Yeah. That's good because I mean you have heard like horror stories of just like pregnancy and it just not sounding as smooth as what you're making it seem.
Right.
So you're making it sound like yeah, let's just do this.
A little walk in the park.
Yeah. Now, when you get into like a relationship in the future, how are you going to handle things like? meeting your child? Like, is that now that that's something that you have to think about?
Um, I know that I won't allow everybody to meet him, but if I do find that person, and we've hit it off, and I think this could be long term, I would let them come in and meet.
Yeah. Do you, and I found you on TikTok. Do you have any like other like studs that reach out like asking you about your experiences?
Um, Actually, I haven't had anybody to reach out.
Really?
Surprisingly, yeah, really.
I don't see this often.
Right.
And I didn't know like what your situation was or whatnot, but I was like, okay, a stud like wanting to have a baby like that, and that was my thought process. And when I tell a lot of other studs, they're like, "What? No way! Like never." But with you, I think it's important for us to like we are still females, right? Like we
Right.
can do
Of
this.
course. Right. Right.
You're 28. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna have a kid. So you have a kid now. What's next for you?
Um. Honestly, I'm not really sure because things are different now. I planned it with somebody. I plan to you know you know the way things turned out. I didn't plan them. So it's totally different than where I started. So right now I have no idea like which way to go. It's different when you have somebody with you. You have you also have childcare as well. Now my biggest concern is when it's time for me to get back out there, who's gonna watch my child? And daycare is expensive. I think it's like $250 a week here. So
Yeah, it is like, and that's another thing. Like I was saying earlier, like yeah, I wanted to have a kid, but there's just so much that comes with it. I know you say you don't regret your decision, but is there anything that you would have like changed differently, and before going into this?
I would change probably the partner.
For sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Doing it by yourself, like, kudos to you. I know you're only 6 weeks in, but I like having a kid. There's just so much work. I'm glad your parents are supportive of you. How do you find a social life now?
I really don't have one. I feel like again, by him being so young, I can't really, bring him around, too many people, and I also um, can't really go out as well and don't have childcare, so I can't, just meet up with friends and stuff. So
Do you have a good group of friends like that you grew up with or that you have right now?
my friends are my cousins. So
I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. They're like, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's my best friend, and my cousin on both
yeah.
sides of my family. Like, yeah, that is how it is. Do you feel like are they a part of the community too, or are they straight
Um,
cousins?
One of them is part of the community.
Okay, so you pretty much hang out with straight people a lot.
Pretty much, yeah. Two of them are in the community.
You never think like, man, I want more queer friends.
I do, but they're hard to come by sometimes.
Right. They really are. Like, I think, and on TikTok, there's like this stud versus stud friendship, or like, I just had a conversation here on Queen Talk about just like platonic friendships in general with the queer community. And I think it's like hard to find femme friends being masculine as well as stud friends because of just like that old toxic way of thinking these days. How do you find, or like in the future, if you want friendships, how do you find queer friends?
No idea. Like I haven't tried to make friends in so long. Like I have no idea. Like where I want to start. Well, for one, I'm like being in Baton Rouge. Just not too many like social places. Specifically for LGBTQ. So I'm not really sure how I'm gonna.
There's nothing there for the queer community. You ain't got no gay
I
clubs.
think
Oh,
I
it
think
probably got gay clubs.
I don't know if it's still open, but it was one a long time ago.
Okay, so not even much for like you to find queer people. How was Pride? You guys have a Pride?
Uh, I think we have one, but I didn't hear anything about it. It's really small.
Yeah. You ever go to New Orleans, or you just stay in Baton Rouge?
Go to New Orleans. Yeah.
How
Like
far
before
is
I had,
that?
it's about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
So
before I had my baby, I would probably go like every 2 weeks or so. Yeah.
I had a baby, had to stay inside. Ain't no going outside now.
Right.
I think yeah, that's like the toughest boundary for me. It's just like like I said, my partner, his brother just had a kid and he was like, you guys are always going somewhere. I'm like, we don't have a kid. Like I can get up and go whenever I want to go. Like and then paying for the kid, I can the money that you're paying on diapers and pacifiers and food, I'm not paying on that. So do you have like help with that stuff too, or is you just
Um.
figuring this all out?
Fortunately, I was, pretty much. I had a baby shower, and I was blessed in my baby shower with a lot of stuff.
Good.
So I got pretty much enough stuff to last until he's 2 years old.
How do you feel like you're gonna raise this child? And what I mean by that is like, there's a lot of stereotypes, right? Especially you have a son. So like, how do you feel like you are going to raise your
Um,
son?
I'm gonna raise him to be a sweetheart. I want him to be a gentleman. I want him to be, somebody's, if that's what he chooses, I want him to be, somebody's father and somebody's husband, somebody's protector, and, like
And
a soft guy. That's what I want to.
yeah, what if your son came to you and told you he was gay? Like, how would you feel? I know it's early, but just like, have you thought about that?
Yeah, I have, and honestly, it wouldn't bother me. Like, that's I'm going to support my son, through whatever he chooses in life, and unless he chooses to go be like a serial killer or something like that, I will stand by him in whatever he chooses.
That's good. I know I've had conversations on here before with parents, and they've came out as gay, and it was okay. But I had a parent that came on here that's part of the community, and their child came out as trans, and it wasn't like they didn't know how to accept that right off the bat initially. And so I think it's just important for us, even though we're part of the community, to still like we're parents, or if we become parents too, like how are we going to accept our children and not put those labels on them?
All right.
Do you feel like you've seen yourself in that stereotype way, like right now, or like you buying all boy stuff or all blue stuff, make sure it's blue and stuff like that already or not?
I've been buying like like yellow stuff, and like I heard somebody say, "Why are you getting him yellow stuff? He doesn't need yellow stuff." I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like the color does not define. It shouldn't define, a gender.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree. I'm always that person, my cousins, and they all hate it because they're like, they'll say sometimes like, or something, and I'm like, that doesn't have to be a boy thing, or that doesn't have to be a girl thing, and they get irritated with me. But I'm like, you guys do it to yourself. Like, if you really think of what you're saying, just like, oh, I'm gonna get the boy the Nerf gun, like the girl could have the Nerf gun too. Like, it could be both ways. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. And we program our kids to think that at such a young age, that that's how they grow up to.
Right. That reminds me of the toy kitchen debate that was going on not too long ago.
Yup. And now yeah, that's why these dudes don't know how to cook these days, anyways. Like,
Right.
that's the thing. I'm glad like you see that though too already early, for yourself, and just like you don't want to just like program your son into thinking he has to be this one way.
Right. Of course.
What advice do you have or you want to give to anybody that might be a mother?
The best piece of advice that I have, because I'm, newly a mother, I would say is to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, especially mentally, if you don't do that, then you can really lose yourself during postpartum, and even after, because it takes a lot to raise a child. It takes a lot to be mentally present every day as well.
In what ways are you doing that for yourself is to take care of yourself?
For me, taking care of myself looks like just like getting up and washing my face. Getting up and taking a bath. Putting on some cologne. Something that smells good, or might line my hair up or something like that. Look good, feel good.
Hey, yeah, I'm just like, for you to do this by yourself, I'm just still like, man, that's really tough. And from what the looks of it, you're doing a great job. I know, like, yeah, you have to put some things on hold and stuff like that, but I think you're making the best of it. Like, you didn't get put in a good situation with just like having to do it by yourself. Like you said, this is not what you envision. You envision having a partner and doing this stuff with, but you had to pivot. And I think from the sounds of it, you're doing a great job and you're putting the child first. And I think that's very important. And not a lot of people do that. A lot of people would have stayed in the toxic relationship. So kudos to you. You did it. Is there any thing, a part of your story that you're like, man, I really wanted to share this today?
Not really, but I'm willing to help anybody that's trying to start the process, or even just wants information. I'm willing to help anybody, because I know I've seen some people that that charge people for information, but I'm willing to help anybody that wants it, because
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like you just gave game already too with just a baby, the app. Is it like a dating app to where like you're just scrolling and you can just like see who you want to choose from?
yeah, pretty much it's like that. You just swipe over for who you want to choose from. They have like their profile, where they're from, and if they charge or not, and stuff like that.
So some people don't even charge.
Yeah, some people don't charge anything. Like before I found Just the Baby, I was on the Facebook app, like the Facebook groups. They have like um donor apps, with donors on there, and a lot of people on there don't charge either. So
Okay, interesting. Well, you guys heard it here on Queen Talk. If you guys are interested in having a kid and wanting to do it in an affordable way, just a baby. There's Facebook groups. I think just a baby. Does it seem like it's more secure though? Like, is there like documents and stuff like there on the back end to like make sure like the paperwork and all that's good?
I think honestly, in that aspect, I think Facebook would be more secure. Just because like you actually, you have their profile, you can actually, see, who's who. With Just the Baby, pretty much going off, what they tell you, pretty much. Um, I mean, I would recommend Just the Baby, because you can find somebody closer to you than on Facebook groups, because they're not, there's not one in every city, so
Mm-hmm.
pretty much have to look around.
When you were looking on there, did you see a lot of people of color, or was it mostly white?
Mostly white. It's very hard to find people of color.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did you find someone of color, or did you just go with someone white?
Actually, I did not. I went with someone else. Is I mean, I only had like a couple weeks. So I'm like, I'm trying to hurry up and get it all together, because I had been trying, months before that, and like I would get a donor, and like they would, just stop responding or something like that, and that was I was trying to, rush it, trying to get through with it. So I kind
So
of much picked the first person that I was comfortable with.
okay, so within your process, you did have people that you contacted with you thought was a one, but then just didn't get back with you. So that
Yeah,
could be a thing for people.
yeah, it could,
Okay.
and that was mostly on the Facebook groups.
But when you did the just a baby app, pretty people were responsive and getting back to you in a timely manner.
Yeah. And I don't know if that was luck, but for me, yeah.
Well, that's good. We only speak about our experiences on this
Right, right.
podcast. But yeah, so that's good. You just gave some game, Kiki. I appreciate it. Everyone that I've always asked, they do it the IVF. Like
Right.
it's really expensive, and they're having to work 3, 4 jobs just to like get this process for themselves. And I don't know if a lot of people know that there's other options besides that. When you think of at-home insemination, you might think, oh, you don't have like a process of just like finding someone, but there are ways to be able to do that. So
Right. Definitely.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. So thank you for sharing that. And just know, like, it's everybody's process may be differently, but yeah, check the app out if you're trying to have a kid. I think, and especially if it's only $75 or less.
Right.
Shit. I want to know, like, later on, just like I'm gonna have to. We're gonna stay in contact to see just like how how it all like works out and stuff. But
Okay, that's no problem.
yeah, I'm excited for your journey. I'm excited that you came on here on Queen Talk today and shared your story. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you guys. I want to know what you thought of this episode. What do you guys think? Have you guys seen this app before? Have you used it? Are you interested in having a kid? Keke is single. I don't know if she's ready to mingle, but she might. She might. But yeah, just thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, and leave a comment. And check out queentalk.com. Check out all the merch. Check out all the latest episodes that we've had previously. But yeah, as always, family, friends, strangers, love, and be nice.